Hello and welcome to the Hope Hotline. Thank you for joining us this Easter week.
Yeah.
Which it's all things Easter, just like Christmas time. It was all things Christmas. I think we should have started this last week.
Okay.
But she says, okay, like
Okay.
I'm patronizing you as in I'm busy doing something else. But okay.
I know my little thing popped out of my ear.
Oh.
Okay.
So all the questions this next two podcasts are all about Easter. Yeah, you're going to need that. All things Easter. So some of them are light. Some of them are a little bit more heavy. But we can carry the load.
Yes. We
So, I don't really have anything to say. Why don't you just do your thing and then hello, TikTok.
yeah. We got our dual live.
Oh, look at that. I can see you guys.
I know. I don't know how this is going to work audio wise. Can you hop on TikTok and see what it sounds like? Because, I don't know if they can. Yeah, I don't know.
We're all new. This is all new.
We're figuring this out. So, yep. Hi, TikTok. I think so.
My desk is so sticky from the Sprite challenge.
That's because yours exploded everywhere.
Your floor is probably going to be sticky too. We just
I
all
agree.
chugged Sprite. So
We did the Sprite challenge
cute.
for TikTok. That'll be posted probably tomorrow.
Doesn't sound bad.
Doesn't okay.
Sticky. Okay.
I'll
you.
have it done.
We'll have it done tomorrow. Oh, tonight. Maybe you'll see it tonight. I don't know. It was interesting. Vanessa does not disappoint. Vanessa, for people on TikTok, let them see who you are. Do that. Show them who you are, girl. Oh, wait a minute. That's right. You're going to...
Tracy.
Oh, okay. There she is.
Vanessa killed it.
I aim to please.
That's right. But besides Vanessa, you see hunched over eating Skittles. It's Kelly.
Kelly.
You're there. You're in there.
Yeah.
You're on.
We put baby in the corner.
We got a whole line of people today.
So that's Kelly. Some people are like, is that a ghost over there? No, that's just Kelly.
Just Kelly.
Just Kelly. All right, you want to do your thing, and then we'll I'll do my thing?
Yes. Yeah. Okay, so now we're officially on Facebook. It does this funny thing where I can't go live with everybody else, so I have to go live manually. So we're live on Facebook, but we're not happy again with you, Facebook. You are actually really annoying.
Here's the thing.
Okay.
Can I just tell you about Facebook?
Let's do it. I'm coming back to you. We got to
I'm going
see
to tell you
this.
about Facebook,
Yeah.
which I hate them. I have no qualms in saying they banned Tom not last night, the night before, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which we knew, like, guys, we know, like, more people are watching than what they're allowing us to see or what they're saying. Because as soon as they banned Tom on Facebook and Facebook was gone, I think Aaron said we upped 200 people alone just on Rumble.
Yeah, see?
That's not including, like, because he's on TV too, on Christian television.
Right.
So, like, literally, it said only 40 people were on.
See? That, like, infuriates me. Because why?
And that's not even, that doesn't mean that 200 people were watching Facebook. What it means is it probably was more, but they didn't go to Rumble.
Right.
They just didn't go. They just were like, okay, I guess it's gone.
Yeah, right.
So who knows how many people were actually watching the podcast? They just don't allow us to see it. And we're banned. We've gotten ourselves in trouble like twice on that platform.
Mm.
And it takes nothing to get yourself in trouble.
No.
For real.
That on YouTube.
You just say gay and you're
That's
you're
true.
upset.
That's true.
Facebook is.
And you could be talking about people who are happy,
Yeah.
but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
YouTube's done the same thing to us. I've been in trouble with YouTube. I've been in trouble with Facebook, and then so TikTok's it. I'm done with those two platforms because they suck.
I know.
Big time.
Yeah, if you're on Facebook, please, the few of you that are watching, come on over. There's probably like 100 of you watching, and Facebook won't even let us know. I'm just joking. But yeah, if you're watching on Facebook, please switch on over. And before you do, you can comment and like and share and do all that fun stuff and just get it out there. And then if you are on Rumble, let us know who's watching. Hi, Anne Marie. Talia's on there as well. And if you are watching on TikTok, your experience probably isn't as good as if you come to Rumble. So I would highly suggest pop over to Rumble, set up your little account. It won't take very long. Just do it real quick, and then you'll be good to go. If you are somebody that likes to invest in good apps and programs and stuff, we pay for the premium, so we don't have to worry about ads. I do pay for YouTube as well, so it's like one of those things that you invest where you appreciate that they. Oh, hey Linda, you appreciate that people let us speak what we want to speak about because it is America, So
is it really? Not on some platforms. You'd never know it.
Right, exactly. So it is America. So let us speak. Let us say our words. All right. So yeah, we got YouTube, obviously you can subscribe to, got blackrobe.com. And then later on the audio podcast will be available. Obviously we're on TikTok as well. And then you'll want to follow us on our social media, which we'll get to in a second. But before that, please send in your questions. We're doing Easter this week, obviously. And you can send in any question that you have across anything at all, like any question you have in regards to family or religion or faith or the Bible or anything at all. If it's a medical question, however, send it in the same place, askhope at hopehotline.com. But Natalie will be available on the 25th this month. So she's coming in next Friday. Super excited to have her back. Already have a few questions that have come in. So I'm going to send those over. And I actually had a couple too that came up in my head, and I'm very curious what her answers will be. So that'll be fun, especially from a person in the medical field that believes in and has faith, that believes in God and has faith. So I'm curious what her answers will be for those. And we are on all the different platforms. So we have Instagram you can follow us on. We keep our stories going, put some different videos on. But if you want to see like our newer, more like, not necessarily private, hold on, not hope yet, like not private, but just kind of like special videos that we do, we put them on TikTok and we're putting them out there. So if you want to see stuff that you probably won't see on Instagram or Facebook, head over to TikTok.
But we've only been on TikTok, we're just coming up on a month.
Yes.
I mean, we're like super brand new.
Yes.
From our page to my page. Like
Yes.
my page, I just came up to a month
Yes.
of being on it.
Yeah, yeah. So and speaking of, Hope's on TikTok and she's doing her own. We are newbies, very new, but we're having a lot of fun doing it. So there is Hope's page as well. Hey, it's Hope01 if you're looking for her actual her mention. And if you do that, make sure that you do all the things. Make sure you follow her. Make sure you repost all the good stuff because that really does help us in our algorithms and all the good stuff, getting our questions out there. But the questions she answers on there are very different than what she's answered on here. So they're very specific. And
they're real questions. They're not I didn't make the questions up.
Right.
They're actually real questions.
Yes.
That people have asked.
Right.
So.
Yep. So, and then sometimes it's good just to kind of hear what an answer is because it might not be your question, but at some point, if you hear that question, you can be like, oh yeah, I remember it, like some kind of advice, and you'll have something to go off of. But it is interesting how some of these questions are pretty wild. So definitely check them out. And then last but not least, we have our merch available at foundationchurchfl.com. You click shop, it's all available right there for you. And then of course, if you are here, because it's Easter Sunday, if you're here on Sunday, you can purchase at our merch store along with our TLP stuff and our Foundation Church stuff and our mugs and our hats and all the good blankets, everything you need. You can come and get at Foundation Church's merch store. And I think that's it for today.
Hot diggity.
That is it.
Let us go to the first question. And I remember when my kids were little, I was thinking of this same question. So, Mom, I totally get this question that you're asking. Because if you're a Christian, how do you navigate through Christmas and Easter and things like that? So it says, I'm a mom trying to teach my kids about Easter beyond the Easter bunny, but I don't want to scare them with the talk of death and crucifixion. Any advice? So obviously there are if you have small children, hello, you're going to be very careful in what you expose your kids to and their understanding of Jesus and Easter and the resurrection, the whole nine, right?
Yeah.
Because there's limited understanding. When they're 3 and 4, I don't know. It's really all about the Easter bunny. To be honest with you, I don't know if 3 and 4-year-olds even comprehend. My kids knew about Jesus, but telling them that he died on a cross and he rose again, and they'd be like, I don't even know what any of that means.
Yeah.
And I didn't want them to see Jesus on a cross and all that other good stuff. It isn't until they're like kindergarten, 6th grade. Now, some kids do have a better comprehension. Okay, there are some kids that just are very, very smart, and you can rationalize and have legitimate conversations. But I was buying Christmas presents for both my children, shopping for them for Christmas. They were both sitting in the cart. And they didn't even realize I was shopping for them for Christmas. Okay. Some kids just, it's like, la-da-dee-da-dee. I mean, it's like right over their head. Okay. You got to like figure out what my kids were just kids. My kids were not like people who love puzzles and trying to figure things out. There are certain children that are just all about learning. I did not have those. I was not like that. Truth be told, I had no interest in book learning. Give me real life learning, and that's my game. But make me learn something at school, I'm going to cry. Like, I don't want to do that. So know your kid, know where they're at, and then figure it out. Don't try and force something because you think religiously that's what you're supposed to do. Understand your child, where they're at, and then navigate through that. Does that make sense, girls?
Yes.
Okay. So what I'm going to tell you is like it's at kindergarten, and if you guys disagree with me, just say I think I have a different perspective on that for right now. Okay, just say that I agree, but I don't disagree.
Okay.
Everybody, it like 5 or 6, they start coming of age. They've been exposed more to the world. They're in the school system. They kind of understand things, right? That's when I would start trying to help them. I asked Jesus into my heart. I understood what it meant to be saved, or what the terminology is of asking Jesus into your heart when you're a very small child. That's what they call it. I understood that. I did that at 5. Like, totally, I can still remember doing it, understanding it, and totally feeling different after I did. Okay, there are 5-year-olds that doesn't make sense to them at all. Okay, well, that's because they're too young and they don't get it. That's okay, because whatever. But that's when I would seriously start looking at my children and helping them understand what the resurrection story really stands for, or Easter story, depending on what you want to call it. I'm going to give you 2 options that if I would have had these for my kids, I would have loved it. But I didn't. So I had to use different stuff that is outdated, and people would be like, eh. Now, everybody has seen Passion of the Christ.
Yeah.
For the most part, everybody has seen that movie. It's the Mel Gibson movie. And most people loved it. Even people who really aren't Jesus people, they went and saw it and were profoundly changed and totally moved by it. They may not have made a decision for them to repent and to get their life right with God, but they loved this story and they got it. So it's a great movie if you've never seen it. But they made a cartoon version of this, which I gave Tracy a graphic of it, I gave you a graphic. You can put that graphic on. They made a movie, or they made a version that's perfect for small children, and it's called the Passion for. I've shown this to our children's church, and it was great for all ages. Even a kindergartner was drawn and they just could not watch it. But even the 5th grader was like, this is pretty interesting. Even though they already knew the story, they were like, oh, I like this. It's a cartoon, guys. It's not that difficult. So, and it was interesting to them. That is a great way, if you are a parent trying to explain the resurrection, Jesus, what he did for each and every single one of us by dying on the cross and then raising in 3 days. So we start celebrating this on Friday, right? Good Friday. And then Sunday is the biggest celebration of all. But so figure out how you want to do it. But maybe Friday night you play a movie, and you can rent this, I think, almost anywhere. But get the movie, rent it out, and then by Sunday they'll understand what's going on. Yeah. Depending on the age. Also, this isn't what we do anymore. We just upgraded, and I don't mean upgraded in that this one stinks. I just mean we upgraded to a different Bible. But here at Foundation Church, every child that goes to any of our children's programs, they get a free Bible. And these Bibles aren't cheap, but every child gets a Bible. This was the Bible up until about a month ago that each kid got when they went to Kids Rock, which is our elementary school program. It's called the Action Bible. And inside the Action Bible, it's like a cartoon. Like, what did they call these? Like action? Like
Comics?
Comic. Golly, thank you. It's like a comic. And I don't know if I pull it back.
in front of your face. Put it right in front of your face.
Put it right in front of my face.
Yeah.
So if you're wanting to explain what Jesus did, well, this side. This is great because this is him carrying the cross all the way to being on the cross. And it tells the whole entire story. It starts way back here.
Yep.
But it's the Old Testament and the New Testament. This is where Pilate's signing off and saying, nope, I'm not having any parts of this. But it literally explains the whole entire thing all the way to where he's in the tomb. The soldiers are guarding the tomb. I mean, it's very short. It's very short, but it explains it thoroughly to where they go in and they don't find him. Okay, so, and there he's seen right there. Gosh, I hate trying to figure it out. There's where he's seen by the disciples and Mary and stuff. So this Bible, I think it's $20 on, you can get it at Christian Book, or you can, which is on the web, or you can go to Amazon. You can buy it there. But if you ever, it tells every story from the Old Testament all the way through the New Testament. And like Revelation, we're like, how do we explain Revelation to our kids? That is in 3 pages. Mm-hmm. But it's perfect because literally.
I love that Bible.
Huh?
I said I love that Bible.
It's
I read that whole Bible.
Yeah.
I mean.
As an 8-year-old girl, I read the whole Bible.
Yeah, I mean, this is it. This
It's
is
great
Revelation.
If you like pictures too.
I love the pictures.
I love
in it.
pictures.
It's done right here.
Yeah.
That's it for Revelation. But it explains it so
There's
that
also an audio app.
yes,
For the
there
Yeah.
is.
That for the Action Bible. So if they want to be a little bit more independent in their reading, they can open up the Action Bible, and then the audio would read what's on the page
For them, yeah.
Yep.
Which we've done lots of reading programs here, like schools do the reading programs, and so we do reading programs here. We'll do either Old Testament or New Testament, and then they have a time frame in which they can get it done. And as they do progressively through, whether it be old or new, then they win prizes. And the ultimate is a prize like going to the movies or going to bowling as a group, pizza party, that whole thing. And what's great is their younger kids are like, oh, I can't read. And mom and dad sometimes are so busy that they might skip a night or whatever. So what's great about it is what Vanessa is saying is it doesn't matter if you can read or not. Because your parent can put the Action Bible audio on, which is an app. Isn't it? It's an app, right?
Yeah.
They can put that app on and it'll play it for your kid and they read along. Or they can look at the pictures. I mean, it's phenomenal. So no kid, as George Bush would like to say, no kid gets left behind.
That's true.
Blech. Not a fan. But it's perfect.
Yep.
It's perfect for that.
Mm-hmm.
And I only know that because my kids were a part of those reading programs.
Yep.
Yes, they were.
It's like, let me set you up.
And your one kid was old enough to read by themselves, but the
Yeah,
other
and
one
the
was
other
not.
wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
And some kids will read to their siblings, but that's not always the case that it's possible. So
Right.
it's great. It's a great system. But I will say that depending on their age, there are many options. And by the time they hit being a teenager, you should be cracking that real Bible open and showing them in the Word, because the 4 Gospels make them read it. The 4 Gospels explain the crucifixion so well, and then the resurrection as well. And then in the New Living Translation, super easy for people to read. Then you got the woke version, which is the Message.
Oh my gosh.
Which
Surrendering.
Tracy's
Surrendering.
surrendering.
It's like The Chosen.
I think the woke version is like the Passion.
Yeah.
Translation.
True.
What is that?
It's also
It's another rendering, but even more rendering. It's like on crack rendering.
The Passion's on crack,
Yeah.
like as far as what the Bible
it's
says.
the passion and then the message.
Alrighty then.
Yeah.
Scary. What would you guys suggest? I mean, for me,
Yeah.
it's pretty simple.
Yeah,
I would say it's definitely, you have to be intuitive with your kids, like you were saying. It depends on each one. Like, I don't feel like it was ever a challenge for us. And we did the Easter Bunny, and it was never like, the girls were never confused, like, why are we doing Easter Bunny? But it's Jesus. Like, it was always about Jesus. Like,
Yeah.
we always went to church on Sunday. We always celebrated. Like, he was the most important. Yeah. But we still did Easter egg hunts. Like, even Allison, like, she doesn't believe anymore, but she was like, can we do Easter egg hunts still? I'm like, yeah, of course. And so, right. I don't know. For me, like, nothing gets into the realm of being like yucky religious, where it's like, you know, it's black and white because somebody might stumble, but that's just for us. Like, nobody's ever had an issue with celebrating holidays. And so, but I've also been really honest with my kids about what happened with Jesus and what happened on the cross. But again, it was always age appropriate. Right. I know my kids, I know what they could handle. And even though I have twins, one could handle a little bit more. And the other one, if I said that his back was like ripped open, I think she would just never stop crying, like at a young age. So I just had to say that he went through so much just because he loves you so much, and that was enough to make them cry. Oh, yeah. And so I think you just have to, like, your kids. Yeah, your kids.
Yeah, because everybody's different.
They are, but these are great. These are two great options.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love both of those options. Mm-hmm. I've used both of those options, and every child totally got it.
Yep. Yeah.
Again, no child was left behind.
Yeah,
it's true.
I was lucky enough that my kids were able to kind of like grow up in our children's program. So they got to hear from the very beginning. And it's like Tracy said, Jesus is a part of our everyday.
Yeah.
And so it's just in our conversations, and when they were little, you kind of just present it in a way that they understand. And then as they get older, you add more.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. You build.
That's
totally
it.
Build on it. Mm-hmm. I love it. We're going to do sponsor really quick, and then we're going to go to the next question.
Okey-dokey.
Okay, so the Real Estate Appraisal Associates of Southwest Florida, Inc. is owned by Laura Keller. They have been in business since 2005, and they provide the most accurate certified home appraisal service in Southwest Florida. They have upfront pricing with no hidden fees, no waiting for a couple weeks for your appraisal. They will have it done in 2 to 4 days. Why do you need an appraisal? There are many reasons to get one. First, when you sell your home, it removes any concern that you priced it too low, to eliminate paying high estate taxes on a home you inherited, to make sure that you are not paying too much in property taxes because of an inaccurate home valuation. Lastly, so that when you list your home, it's not priced too high and sits on the market for months or longer. Real Estate Appraisal Associates of Southwest Florida are highly trusted and valued, and they have done over 10,000 appraisals. They are locally owned and operated for over 30 years. They are a licensed state-certified appraiser and are an expert team. Their appraisals have a 100% money-back guarantee, and they can provide residential real estate appraisals in the following counties: Charlotte, Sarasota, Manatee, DeSoto, Hillsborough, Pinellas, and Lee. If you give them a call, tell them that you heard about them from the Hope Hotline, and you will receive a $50 discount. If you're listening, which most people are, the number is 941-743-3700, 941-743-3700. Next is Hanson Automotive. Hanson's Automotive Services has been in business since 2017 with 20 years experience. They do everything from oil changes to tires to AC work to engine repair and replacement. They're not just motivated to do their best, they are auto-motivated, and their business lives by Proverbs 16:3, which is, commit to the Lord whatever you do, and he will establish your plans. The phone number for them is 941-460-3962, 941-460-3962. Girl, I got somebody in here. You just rip that skillet bag open and have as many as you want, pumpkin. Have fun with that. What? Oh, yeah. Listen, you can be quiet, but you can eat those Skittles as much as you want.
Eat the skillets.
Eat that skillet bag, Skittles. I love that. You know why I said that? Because we have a restaurant around here called Skillets.
We do.
And I flippin' love Skillets. So I was thinking Skillets, not Skittle. I love Skillets.
Still around?
Yes, and it is
Yeah.
muy bueno.
Is it still
That's the only
Spanish?
Spanish I know. Muy bueno.
Yeah, is the Venice one still here?
Oh yeah, it's good. It's so good.
Never heard of it.
You've never heard of Oh my gosh,
I've never heard of it or been.
so good.
Well,
If you like potatoes,
field trip.
which I do,
Oh, I love potatoes.
She loves
I'm telling you.
potatoes.
Oh, I love potatoes.
Talia,
She's obsessed.
Skillets is for you.
What time are they open?
I don't know, but they're good. Okay, next question. From Skittles to Skillets to the questions. Is it okay to enjoy the fun parts of Easter, like eggs and chocolate, even if I'm trying to take my faith more seriously? And I'm not, when I say this, and I'm not bashing anybody, and I'm really not bashing anybody, but sometimes people get so religious that they lose fun in their walks with God. Like being religious, you're not going to attract a lot of people to, like, people will say, I'm not a religious person. Well, I'm not a religious person either. I love God. I have a relationship with Jesus Christ. And like, that's not being religious. I think when you said, I'm a person that believes in that the Bible has boundaries and it has guidelines for us to live by that protect us and keep us safe. Okay. But I'm not a person that believes that even though the Bible is and does have rules in it, okay, those rules are what I'm referring to, boundaries and guidelines, okay? But I'm not a person that, like, I meet lots of religious people and things that aren't even wrong to do, they're like, it's a big fat no-no. And I'm like, but that doesn't say that in the Bible. So it's because everything, they're so stringent and so strict, like in rigid, like where's the fun in being a Christian? And I'm not talking about going and getting drunk, and I'm not talking about going and partying and doing all this stuff. I'm not talking about that. I mean, we all know that that's clear in the Bible. We're not to be doing those things, but I'm just talking about just life in general. Like, you're so rigid that there's no fun. Who wants to be a Christian if that's the case? And I know plenty of them that are like this. I'm like, man, I would never want what you have. And you're not probably recruiting too many to want what you have. Do you understand what I'm saying, girls?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
It's like,
Allison always asks me when she sees like an older person, she's like, Mom, why did they lose their smile? And it's true. And a lot of times they are. You talk to them, they believe in God, and they're very like strict about it. Like, I believe in God, I'm religious. But like, you don't look like I want to hang out with you.
Yeah,
like you
where's
look,
the joy of the Lord?
right. Where do you have fun? Like, what do you do for fun? Like, what's fun in your life? Like, I have a lot of stuff I do that's fun.
yeah,
And
you
not
really
one
do
thing.
wonder.
Yeah, right.
You really do have to wonder. I mean, sometimes they're sometimes they're very joyful, but it's in the rigidity that they're joyful. And I'm like,
right.
no
Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah.
No thanks. I think that you can absolutely do Easter with eggs and chocolate and be completely happy. I mean, if I took eggs or chocolate eggs and chocolate bunnies away from Tom, he might cry.
Yeah, we don't do our baskets every year.
He made it clear on Sunday. There's an expectation of lots of chocolate.
Yeah, we do. Like for this person, just so you know, like on Easter that afternoon, I will be hiding baskets in my house
For multiple people.
for multiple people. And there's a competition who can find their basket first. Every basket is designed for that particular person and what they like. And so, Tom is 56. My kid's 26, 24. Then Talia will be 19, but she's not. But she's shy of it. And then if Kristen comes over, then how old is she? She's another 24. I mean, so that's all adults here, and they're still behaving like children. Have fun.
Have fun.
Yeah.
Have fun.
I will- I hope I have lunch right after church, but I'll be there after that lunch.
Just in case.
Because it's my nana's birthday.
Okay, this thing is crooked, by the way.
Oh.
I'll fix
My
it.
phone. So in other words, that can wait till after the podcast. But in other words, you're telling me we're gonna have to wait on you.
Yeah.
Okay. Psalm 118:24 says, "This is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it."
I love
I
that.
say, use Psalm 118. for. Enjoy your life.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean go live it however you want to, under the confines and the boundaries that the Bible says. But listen, that's a pretty, like, I have fun every day.
Same.
I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm actually doing more than I ever did before when I didn't have the boundaries, believe it or not. But don't be religious. Don't be religious.
Yeah.
Don't take the fun out of the holidays, because they still can be really fun. And keep the first things first, like you were saying.
Right.
Why are we having this holiday? What happens is, if you look at other countries, they'll celebrate our religious holidays, but the thing that's missing is the first thing, which is always Jesus.
Yeah.
They take days off. Christmas, most countries do not celebrate Jesus
Right.
for Christmas.
Right.
It's all about, it's not even Santa. For them, it's about the gifts, and it's about the day off. That's the truth. Study it out. I'm not kidding you. But if you keep Jesus first and the rest second, then why not? Why not?
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
And I love it because a lot of stores are starting to close on Easter.
Oh, I love that.
They're catching on.
I know that they started, because a long time ago they started, this is going back to Christmas, but people were, maybe not Christmas, Thanksgiving. People were working on Thanksgiving. And I thought that was just so sad.
I know. That is
But
sad.
I
It
feel
is
like,
sad, but I was a hypocrite because I still went out on Thanksgiving and shopped.
But I feel like last Thanksgiving that we just celebrated, a lot lot of stores were closed.
I love that.
Yeah. I love
They
that for
closed
their
and then they
families.
opened late on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're if they opened it all,
Right.
which I love. I'm in agreement with you on that. I love that.
Yeah.
But even back in the day, like stores were closed on Sundays.
I remember
that.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Very well. And you literally could not buy alcohol on Sunday.
Right.
Right.
That was a no.
Yeah.
I know that a lot of people are like, what the heck are you talking about? I know, and I'm not 100 years old.
I'm not 100 years old.
And
I
it's the
remember that.
truth.
Yeah. It wasn't so long ago.
That you could buy no alcohol on Sundays and stores were closed. You had to buy everything the day before for Sunday dinner,
Yep.
or you weren't going to get it,
Yep.
or you were going to miss out. I mean, and everybody ate Sunday dinner together.
I know.
I know.
It's just not. It's just not like that anymore, which is so sad,
Let's
man.
bring Sunday dinners back.
Okay.
Gosh, like that wouldn't be so. But the problem is families aren't together anymore.
Yeah.
And whereas families, it wouldn't just be like
Right.
you and your parents. It would be aunts and uncles and grandparents,
Everybody.
all of you guys together after
Yeah.
church, because you all went to the same church together.
Right.
True.
Right.
And then you all went to one of the, it's usually grandma. You went to grandma's house
Yep.
and you ate.
Yeah.
So it's, I love that. We did that. We
Yeah.
did that as a family. I mean, we had Sunday dinners and all that other stuff, but
Yeah.
it's great. It's a sweet time. It's a sweet time. It'd be nice if we could get back to some of that more simple lifestyle. I think kids that are just so addicted to their phones, and I mean, adults are too. So I'm not busting on just kids, but I think that this generation, if it went back to the 80s, 70s, 80s, even some of the 90s, and they got to experience what life was truly like in the more simpler
Yeah.
times, they'd be like, this ain't so
This
bad.
is better. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is not, because you don't know what you're missing because you've never experienced it. But I think people would really be shocked
Yeah.
at like how great. I mean, you literally played in the streets with your friends.
Yep.
All day.
Kickball, baseball, basketball in the streets. And then when the street lights came on, you knew you all went home. I mean, it was like everybody could do that though.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
everybody did do it.
Right.
Like all the neighborhood kids came and they played. I mean, I remember we were even older, like junior high and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
there was no phone. So you got together and you had the best time. But when you just knew certain things meant certain things, and that's what you did.
Right.
And the world was very safe. Very safe.
Yeah.
And people were not as evil as they are today.
True. Even my neighborhood drug dealer was really nice.
Oh my gosh.
His name was Cookie.
Well, she grew up in New York. So.
Yeah, his name was His name was Cookie, and he would get us like ice cream bars when
It's probably laced with something.
no the
No, it
ice
came
cream
from the
truck,
ice cream
the
truck.
ice cream truck came every
The
day.
ice cream truck.
They don't
What are you talking
understand. It was a
about?
simpler life. They don't even see how broken they are.
Cookie was a good guy. Okay.
He had his clientele, and Vanessa was not his clientele.
No, we were the neighborhood
So,
kids, and he
right.
kept us safe.
Yeah, well,
different.
listen, it was different back
was
then
different.
because there was kind of an honor
Yeah.
with people back
Yeah.
then. Like
Yeah.
you didn't mess with kids,
You didn't.
and like you kind of like everybody watched out for their own.
Right.
I mean, and that's not how it is today. I mean, when a mother or a stepmother and is locked away a kid from 11 to 32 and barely fed him. I mean, they just found this guy that he had to set fire to his room to be released.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
You know,
Yeah,
it's terrible.
It was, I believe, it was in Ohio. I think it was in Ohio. But I mean,
Ohio.
what are we doing
What are we doing?
as a society? That's a sick individual. And it wasn't just the stepmom. The father had just passed away a year and a half prior to that. And the father of this young man was worse.
Yeah.
He was like 5'8" or 5'9" or something like that. He was like 89 pounds or some ridiculous. I mean, it was terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, we live in a sick society. That did not go on back in my day. And if it did, it was like unheard of. People just didn't behave like that. But people are more and more evil, and they have dumbed down their feelings. So
Yeah.
it's a crazy, crazy time, but simpler times.
Here for it.
Yes. So the next question is more of actually, me and Kelly were just talking about this at lunch today. I told her, I said this, because she and I were talking about something. I was like, I have that question today. This is so crazy. The question is, I have thought so much about Judas and his betrayal and have a few questions because I feel like he is seen as the bad guy, but wasn't his betrayal part of the plan? So the first question that this person had is, if Judas had to betray Jesus for the crucifixion to happen, was he really... Oh, I should ask you guys, do you have anything else you want to add to that other one?
No.
No.
Okay, God bless. We're going to keep going. First question, if Judas had to betray Jesus for the crucifixion to happen, was he really responsible for his actions? And this is, with almost all of these, I gave a this versus that mentality. There's free will, and then there's destiny. So free will versus destiny. Okay. All of us have free will. That's what the Bible says. And our free will determines our destiny. Not you have free will versus a destiny that you've been ordained to live out. Okay? Because that's not scriptural. Judas was destined to do what he did, but he was destined to do what he did because of his personal choices, not because God caused his heart to be a certain way. Judas made his heart a certain way. I mean, I don't know, like, he was not a good guy. I think that when when Jesus asked him to be a part of the disciples, I think he may have made the decision. I think a moment in time, it's like the parable of the sower, but and I'm going to read it, the parable of the sower. But I think initially Judas probably was like, "Yeah, I believe in this guy. Yeah, I want to live a different lifestyle." But as soon as they gave him charge over the purse and the money that the disciples had, because people think they were poor. They weren't poor. They had a purse, and in that purse there was money, and he was robbing from it. He was a thief, so he was making bad decisions, prior to betraying Jesus. And why did he betray Jesus, ladies? For money, because his heart was more in love with money, which money is not the root of all evil. It's the love of money that is the root of all evil. Yep. And he loved money more than he loved Jesus. That's the reason why he did what he did, not because he was destined by God. God chose him. Okay, I'm going to let you be the one. It's not how it works. It's not biblical. It's not biblical at all. Before I go into the parable of the sower, girls, do you want to add anything to any of this?
No.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Do you have anything?
I don't.
Okay.
So Matthew 13, 3 through 9 and 19 through 3. I'm going to do the New Living Translation for this. It says, listen, this is Jesus saying this parable. Listen, a farmer went out to plant some seeds. As he scattered them across the field, some seeds fell on the footpath, and the birds came and ate them. Other seeds fell on the shallow soil and underlying rock. The seeds sprouted quickly because the soil was shallow. But the plants soon wilted under the sun, and since they didn't have deep roots, they died. Other seeds fell among the thorns that grew up and choked out the tender plants. Still other seeds fell on fertile soil, and they produced a crop that was 30, 60, and even 100 times as much as had been planted. Anyone with an ear to hear should listen and understand. But the disciples still are like, I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't understand what the heck you're talking about here. So Jesus said, I will explain it to you. It says the seed that fell on the footpath represents those who hear the message about the kingdom and don't understand it. So when he said those who hear the message, those are people. Okay? So I'll restate that sentence. It says the seed that fell on the footpath represents people who hear the message about the kingdom and don't understand it. Then the evil one, which is the devil, comes and snatches away the seed, which is a person. A person is a seed. The seed that was planted in their heart. The seed is not a person. Sorry. In this case, it's not. A seed that was planted in their hearts, which is the seed represents the word of God and their heart being changed and wanting to be saved. Did that make sense? Because I screwed that first part up.
No, you made it. Yep.
The seed on the rocky soil represents those who hear the message and immediately receive it with joy. But since they don't have deep roots, they don't last long. So this person, the first seed, the devil snatched it away immediately from their hearts, which means they got distracted really fast after they got saved. And they said, I want this, but you know what? I really want that lifestyle more. So I'm not really, I made a decision, but I'm going to retract that decision. Almost as quickly as they make it, they walk away from it. Then the next seed, which is our second one, falls on rocky soil, right? And they hear the message and immediately receive it with joy. But since they don't have deep roots, they don't last long, which means they did it for a very short period of time, but they didn't study their word. They didn't study. They didn't get involved. They didn't fellowship with other people. They didn't find themselves accountable with other people. So when another option, when their old lifestyle comes back and is available to them, they're like, I think we're going to go back to that.
Yeah.
Because they never really did anything with the other lifestyle to make it be of value to them. Am I saying that good, or is there another way to say that that's better?
No, that's good.
Then, so they fall away as soon as they have problems and are persecuted for believing God's word. Like when you get saved and family starts saying, oh gosh, you're not into that Jesus thing, are you?
Yeah.
Oh Lord, you're not going to get religious on us, are you? Oh, crap. Now you're not going to party with us anymore because that lifestyle's not available. You're not going to stop drinking, are you? So then because you're met with criticism, the pressure and the peer pressure pulls you right back into that lifestyle. The seed that fell among the thorns represents those who hear God's word, but all too quickly the message is crowded out by the worries of life and the lure of wealth, so no fruit is produced. That right there would be Judas. The seed that fell on good soil represents those who truly hear and understand God's word and produce a harvest of 30, 60, or even 100 times as much as that had been planted. So out of the 4 seeds, only one of them is good and only one of them makes it. And see, the thing is God knew God, our steps are ordered by the Lord, right? That's what the word says. So God already knows, like, who's going to choose wisely and who's not. And he knew Judas, he wasn't going to make it. But he knew his heart. His heart was towards money and other things. Go ahead.
No, I'm taking it all in. But even so, like, he knew, yet he still washed his feet. You know, he was still in fellowship with him. Like,
yep.
Even knowing that he was going to be betrayed.
Yep.
Like, that's what stands out to me too.
Huge.
That's like putting, when the Bible tells us, even with our worst enemy, the one that persecutes us or talks bad about us or treats us poorly, we're to heap coals of kindness on them. Beauty for ashes.
Yeah.
And that's really, for me, like, to be Christ-like is, and that doesn't mean to be a doormat, people. That's not what that means. But that means to understand what you're dealing with when you see it, and then you don't respond to them in like. You just are like, I see who you are. I know who you are. I'll do what the word tells me to do, but that's all I'm going to do. I'm not going to allow you to mistreat me. So God knew that Judas was going to betray him, but he didn't give all of him, because even in that, Jesus had some words for him too. So he didn't hold anything back to him. He basically, and I'll get to it, but he basically told him what was going to happen to him for betraying him. Yeah. So, but if you think about this, God knew, it's just like God knew that Judas would betray Jesus. God also knew that when he gave Satan permission to test Job in the Old Testament, that Job would pass. He said, you can't test anybody else, but you can test him. Because he knew. God knows. He knows our hearts. He knows how we feel about him. He knows if we're for real or if we're not. And how you behave and how you behave or like what your desire is for him. And now, sure, like I've had moments in my walk with God that I'm in like, I think I'm going to put that thing on the shelf for a little bit. As far as being aggressive in my walk, and I'm still a Christian, but I'm just like not hungering and thirsting after him. If I stay in that state, I'll go backwards. But that doesn't mean, but if I don't stay in that state and I get back and do course corrections, then I get back. But is that really what he wants for us? No, he doesn't want us to shelf and just kind of relax and coast for a while. He wants us to be aggressive in our walks with God. But that doesn't mean that if you're not being aggressive in your walk with God, that doesn't mean that you're also not saved. Right. And a lot of people think they can stay in that state and they'll be fine. I would argue with you about that, because that's also not biblical. But I also would say that just if you're in that state for a period of time, that doesn't mean that you're not saved either.
True.
Because I mean, it goes both ways. Some people are so dogmatic. Like, if you're not like, then you're not saved. Right. And then there's some that you're too relaxed, too compromising. Right. And then, but that's okay, because there's grace. Yep. There's a balance to everything. And you got to just make sure you stay in that balance. Yep. Let's go to the next question. The second question is, if Judas was doing what had to happen, is it fair that he's so heavily judged? I would say, yeah. Absolutely. I think it's absolutely fair that he was judged, because we all have choices. You can make a good choice or you can choose poorly. I mean, all of us have had to face it in life. Deuteronomy 30:19 says, today I've given you the choice, and this is God speaking. Today I've given you the choice between life and death, between blessing and curses. So he gives us choices. One's bad, one's good. One's bad, one's good. And he says after that, now I call on heaven and earth to witness the choice you make. Oh, that you would choose life so that you and your descendants might live. So he actually tells you the answer to the question, tells you which one to choose. Most won't listen to him, and they will not choose life. They will choose death. They will live a life of sin that leads to death. And there'll be no excuses, because they're the one that chose that. Yeah. I mean, it's free will. Thank God for free will. Even though I chose wisely, I'm grateful that I got to make the decision. Right. That it's not forced upon me. Right. Ladies?
Yeah. No, it's true because that's true love. Like, otherwise we would just be robots. So if there is no free will, first of all, it wouldn't be in God's image. But second of all, you're not truly, you can't really love somebody when you don't have the choice. Like, you have to have a choice to love somebody.
Yeah, how many
And
of us
God-
want to get married to somebody that we're forced to
do.
love?
Right, exactly. No, absolutely not. And that's
All those
how,
statistics show forced marriage. Or
True. I think it's like an 80-90%.
but isn't there like a
success
whole
rate.
process to it?
There is.
Yes, there's like a whole process to make sure that this
that you're
is like
compatible? And
Yeah,
yeah, there's
like-
all those things.
So arranged marriages is
arranged
what we're talking
marriages.
about.
Yeah. That's the word. But like, I don't. He's our father, so like, of course, he wants us to love him, and so I do think it's one of those things. You really hit it, is not being dogmatic about, one way or another. And that's for this Easter message, for like how you celebrate, how you live out your life, like, and also not putting it on other people, because your convictions might not be the same as me. Like, my
Right.
weaknesses aren't the same as your weaknesses. And so to be dogmatic about any of this stuff is kind of silly. But
Yeah. Especially if somebody's so dogmatic, but it's not in the Bible.
right. If there's not a Bible
Right.
verse, you know,
And a lot of people make man-made rules.
yeah.
Right.
I mean, I always use this as an example, but people who say smoking is a sin.
Right.
I don't smoke, okay? So I don't have a dog in this fight. But I'm just saying, it's not in the Bible.
Right.
So smoking's not a sin.
Right.
Do I like it? No.
Right.
Do I think it's smart? No, I think it's freaking stupid to smoke. I mean, it's a death wish. But at the same time, free will.
Yeah.
It's not a sin. It's stupid, but it's not a sin. And some people will be like, well, you think it's stupid, but I don't. Okay, well, again, free will.
I know, exactly. Right. It's not heaven and hell.
It's not heaven and hell. So now there are a lot of things that are different than that, but on certain things, people make up man-made rules. I mean, forever. Dancing's a sin. Baloney, dancing is a sin. It's not in the Bible. In fact, there are great men of God who danced before the Lord.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Some naked.
Some naked, exactly. Okay, I'm not doing that, but I'm gonna shake a leg. You
I'll
can
do it naked.
no
She says no.
stripper. I got a stripper back there. Oh my gosh, I'm a dancer for money, money for dancing.
Man.
Can't even know what she's saying.
You don't want to hear it. I'm singing.
She's singing a
I'll be
song
your
for you.
private dancer, dancer for money. Oh dear Lord.
I don't think David danced for money though.
No, he didn't.
No?
Just for
No.
God
No.
Just for God.
Just for God.
and
Okay.
the ark.
Both.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
And money.
No.
Multitask.
Oh my gosh.
It's yours.
Oh, I do not own that right now. Oh my gosh. So, the third question is: did God plan the betrayal, or did he just know it would happen? So we're going to go into that one. Let's see. Did I do that one already? No, I did not.
No, that's a good one.
So this is God's plan versus human choices. Everybody has. If we all live by God's plan, we would all be successful in more ways than we even thought or dreamt possible.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And no
It's
behind.
not what we do, though.
You wouldn't be behind anywhere. Like, you'd be
Nowhere.
so far ahead.
True.
But we're human
Yep.
and we're dumb as a box of rocks. And for those of us who believe in God, because some people that are watching, they don't.
Right.
They don't. It's not that they don't believe in it. It's just they don't believe in it for them. They believe in a God. They believe that God is good, that he's loving. It's just not something they want to partake in. But for us that do believe, we know he has a plan for us. Now, whether or not we're going to let him work that plan out for us, or we're going to put our own ideas into the mix. I mean, sometimes I literally think I know better than God. God, let me tell you how it should really go down. And like, I'm an idiot because I can't think of his ways are so much better than our ways.
Yeah.
That's biblical.
Yeah.
And like, I need to just sit in the passenger seat and let him drive.
Right.
Be a passenger and let him drive. Because he'll take us to places we never thought we would go.
Very true.
And so for me, God did know that Jesus would betray, or God knew that Jesus would be betrayed. He also knew that he would need a betrayer, but he also knew that Judas, like, there was no hope for him. He was going to fail regardless. it's just like Pharaoh. Pharaoh, when Moses kept going to Pharaoh, let my people go. And it says that God hardened his heart. It was already because his heart was already hard. And God knew that there was no hope for him. So just the mere talking or the sight or whatever of the word of God made him grow colder and harder. How many of us know people that like they hate somebody? And it's not that the person does anything to them. It's just this person that hates another person. That person can, how many of you, okay, for example, there's a guy and a girl dating. The girl breaks up with the guy and she starts dating another guy. The guy that got broken up with hates the guy she's dating. Does he really know him?
Right.
Yeah.
No.
Right.
And the more he hears about this guy and all the good things about him, or how he protects her, how he keeps her safe, all these things, he hates that guy even more. Is it the guy? Has the guy done anything to the other guy? Nope. It's just the mere mention of that other man annoying this man. And he can have done nothing, but he gets harder and colder and meaner and nastier about the other guy because he has what he wants. Which same thing with Pharaoh. God had the heart of the Israelites, and Pharaoh wanted the Israelites as slaves. So there was nothing, no matter what, it didn't matter about God. They both wanted the same thing, and Pharaoh, knowing that God was better than him and would do better by the Israelites, it made him hate him. The more the Israelites wanted to go and be with their God, it was more threatening to Pharaoh, which made his heart grow harder and harder and harder. Does that make sense?
Yes.
At all?
Yes. Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
Sometimes you don't have to do anything to anybody, and they just get more angrier
Right.
and more distant and more hateful towards
Breathe
you.
in their vicinity, and they're like,
And you've done nothing, but their heart grows harder and harder towards you for
Yeah.
no reason whatsoever. And it's all because of lack of God
true.
and the more evil they have in their heart. What is that?
I said I know the feeling.
Sometimes you can do nothing. So for me, it's
Truly.
I say this, even though God knew Judas would fail, God didn't set Judas up to fail. Judas set Judas up to fail. God, in his word, God wants everyone to be saved. God does not set anybody up to fail. It would go against his word.
Yep.
In 1 Timothy 2:4, it says, who desires all men to be saved and to come to the knowledge of the truth. It says all men. Is Judas one of all men? Or does it say that he desires some men to be saved? No, all men, which is also women. Everybody has the same fighting chance. He wants every single person to be saved and come to the knowledge of him.
Right.
So he'd be a liar if he had certain people that he set them up so they couldn't succeed and be saved. Then the Bible would no longer be true to its word. And we'd have no leg to stand on to believe in it. But that's not true. Judas made his own choices. God just knew what he was going to choose.
Right.
Ladies,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's super clear.
super clear.
Yeah. That's super
But
clear.
good
to me.
questions.
Yeah.
Like
Great
these
questions.
Are really good
Yeah.
questions. I like these.
Yeah, they make you go, wait a minute, what?
Yeah. Let me study
Because I
this out.
literally was reading these and I went, that's such a great question.
Yeah.
Like, if I didn't know certain things, I'd be like, yeah, that's not cool.
Right. Right.
Like, how could that happen to Judas? That's not fair to him.
Right.
Right. Well, I used to think about that about Pharaoh. Like before I had like a real understanding, I'm like, well, that sucks. Like he was set up to fail. Like his heart grew hardened. But then the way Pastor Tom said it, it wasn't that like God touched his heart and it like got hard. Like it was the character of God. And so that was like mind blowing for me because I always felt like that. It didn't feel right, but it
just
just didn't
turned
feel
off.
fair.
Right.
Okay. So, so I just think it's very
And you
interesting.
couldn't reconcile it in his word. Like,
Yeah,
you know what I
right.
mean? Like there was
Yeah.
that disconnect.
Exactly. Yes.
Where when you view it in that lens where it's the character of God that makes one's heart hard.
Right.
Like that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Well,
Yeah.
it says even with that Jesus, just his presence made people angry.
Yeah, it made the Pharisees very angry.
So just think about God with Pharaoh. If you liken it to the same thing, it's no different.
Right.
Yeah.
It is. No. And that's why.
It's all the same.
Yeah.
And then it's cool to see it like replay, like the patterns replay throughout the Bible. So then when these questions come
Foreshadowing.
up, exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
So true though, Tracy. It's not like it's pretty amazing how one reflects the other.
Yeah.
It's like a repetition of history.
Right.
So, but just different people, just different characters,
Yeah. Right. Right.
but very similar situation. Lastly, could Judas have been forgiven if he had asked, or was he doomed? A lot of people he was doomed, guys. A lot of people think that he had a fighting chance. He didn't have a fighting chance. And here's the reason why. And I love when the Lord caused me to remember this. I was like, could he have? I'm like, no, I don't think he could have. But what do I have to stand on to back that up? Because I know that he didn't. But this is redemption versus grace, right? So what did Jesus say at the Last Supper? And I was so grateful that this came to my mind. But I just got done reading this, and I would say that's probably the reason why it came to my mind. But get this, in Matthew 26, 20 through 25, it says, when it was evening, Jesus sat down at the table with the 12. And while they were eating, he said, I tell you the truth, one of you will betray me. Greatly distressed, each one asked in turn, am I the one, Lord? And he replied, one of you who has just eaten from the bowl with me will betray me. For the Son of Man must die, as the scriptures declared long ago. But how terrible it will be for the one who betrays him. He told him, if you do this, what's going to happen? And he did it right here. He says, it would be far better for that man if he had never been born. Judas, the one who would betray him, also asked, Rabbi, am I the one? And Jesus told him, you have said it. Ouch. So Jesus could have decided that very moment, I'm not doing it.
Right.
Because he was forewarned, if you do this, how terrible it will be for the one who betrays me. So no, it would be far better for that man to have never been born. He was doomed.
Right.
He was doomed.
Crazy.
So
Yep.
he knew going into it, if he did this, what would happen?
Right.
He still chose to do it because guess what? Thank God for free will. Thank God doesn't force us to love him and to receive him. We all get the choice. We all make the decision. And I'm grateful for that. I would hate to have to be made to love someone or something. I want it to be on my terms. I choose him because I choose him, not because he makes me choose him.
Right.
And that's powerful. Love is powerful when it's all you who decides.
Yeah.
So, plus, I would never want somebody to love me because they're made to love me.
Right.
I want them to love me because they chose to love me. So Jesus and the Trinity, Jesus, Holy Spirit, God, how valuable is it to them when they know, like when we know he chose us, we think how powerful that is that he dies on the cross. He chooses us.
Right.
But how powerful it is for all of us that have free will that say, I choose you back.
Right. Right.
So that's it. Ladies, you want to add anything to that?
Yeah.
No, that's good.
That was really
That
good.
is good.
That's
I
really
love that. I love
Good
those
end.
questions.
Yeah.
So to the ones that wrote those three, thank you very much for sending them in, and especially the Judas one.
Yeah.
The Judas one is super powerful, and it just makes us value what we have. And going into Sunday, we'll have more questions on Friday. Thank you for tuning in.
Good Friday.
Yep, and joining us on the Hope Hotline. We will see you Good Friday. Until then, find us on TikTok and watch us on not on we are on Facebook,
Yeah. Yeah. we're on
social
Facebook.
media,
Yeah.
Facebook, Rumble, and that's about it. See ya. Bye.
Real talk.